everybody. This is Mike Balzano, group publisher with BNP Media and the Experience Events. This is episode 3 of Trade Talks, Unlocking the Experience. A very special Christmas episode, as you can see by my garb today. And we have a Santa-esque gentleman joining us in a little bit, and a woman wearing a nice Santa and Christmas colors too. These guests I've known, just about the first people I met when I joined this industry. I'm so happy they could join us. They're big fans of the experience and R&R and whatnot. They are restorers, educators, business owners, tiny house enthusiasts, builders, parents, grandparents, speakers, keynote speakers, Mercedes winners. We'll get to that later. Bloggers, podcasters, and really great friends of the experience. And she is the initial R&R Women in Restoration champion. Please welcome Kevin and Annissa Coy. Yay!
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for taking some time. I really appreciate it. How are things?
Fantastic.
A little snowier than I like.
Is it a little sooner than that, or you usually have white Christmases, or no?
Oh yeah. Well, we're in an El Nino year, so it's a little milder than normal. So we're happy for that, but I'm still not a fan of the white stuff.
I understand. Trust me, about 52 years of that myself, so I get it. We were talking off screen, and you've done so much in your careers. You've been so multifaceted areas. I don't know where to start. I did a Google search yesterday, and my head almost exploded with everything you've done. Let's start with what we know.
Don't tell people to do that, Michael. They'll be like, "Oh my gosh."
Well, let's start from what we all know. Now, I know you from Firehouse Education. How long have you been doing that?
We started Firehouse in 2009.
Oh, and tell everybody, the 3 people who don't know exactly what that means and what you provide for people.
We had our own restoration company, and that was what we did for many years. And then we one day just had people, calling us and talking to us, like after our success in winning the ambassadorship that we won. You were talking about the car. And people just said, "Hey, you know what? My gosh, your success is so great. Like, would you mentor us? Would you teach us?" And we're like, "Sure." So we started doing that. And then that turned literally into Firehouse Education. And so we have, albeit one of the most thorough, premier, most popular, content cleaning, restoration, industry classes that we teach. And then that morphed into coaching and consulting and hands-on on-site training, as well as online. And we're just pretty passionate about the industry. And what we found was that we could really serve and help a lot more people, a lot more families, and business owners that were, found themselves in this kind of a situation where they had a fire loss or a flood or hurricane or whatever. By teaching restoration companies and helping them in their struggles, we could help more and more families. We now do that full time and absolutely love it.
That's great. And you're right. You're the first people talk about with that sector completely. And there's no second place, as far as I can tell. Really, it's a distant second. What you mentioned something, I wanted not to jump around too much, but you mentioned something about, when people go to these events and they can sign up for this contest or that contest, and we do our Apple a Day giveaway and what, you won something a long time ago, maybe about 15 years ago. You want to talk about that? Something a little interesting?
Yeah, Kevin, you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah,
even though
sure.
I'm the one that drives it.
So when we first bought our company, the prior owner had been a part of a marketing group that we wound up going to the end of the year event. It was a big event, and so he'd already paid for it, so we were invited to come down. And the first thing I told Annissa before we got there was, we're not joining this because we can't afford this. We just went into a huge amount of debt. And I said, we'll go down because this is, kind of part of the bonus or whatever. And so we went down. I thought, well, I'm going to sit right down here in the front row. We were sitting so front forward, we were looking up at the speaker. And this guy was a big marketing guru. And about 5 minutes after he started talking, I leaned over and I said, "We're doing this. We need it." And so we joined this high-level marketing group, and there was 100 other companies or 99 other companies involved in it. That's how they capped it. And so we would go through this process of a year of training, meeting every quarter, having online or recorded calls in between. But we had to apply what we were learning and track the progress and report it back. And at the end of the year, they would go through all the people who applied to be a part of the Better Your Best program and select the top 10 candidates out of the group. And then at the end of the year event, we got up on the stage and we each had to give these 5-minute presentations about what we were doing, and then they would vote. And this was 7 years in to the program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was 2 prizes if you were in the contest, and they would judge everybody and figure out who the runner-up was and who the grand prize winner was. And we were the only company in history that took second prize the first year we were in and first prize the second year we were in. And the first prize the second year was a brand new $70,000 Mercedes SUV. And we were just beyond astounded that we had won. And we thought, oh boy, we're not going to be able to pull this off. There's some really, pretty tough contestants up here. And we didn't think we were going to make it. And then we got chosen. So it was a very exciting, very heady moment for us. We were treated like rock stars. It was just one of the most, I'd say one of the biggest, events. Really changed everything for us going forward.
No, I bet. I mean, I just heard about this yesterday. I didn't realize I thought it was maybe you pulled your name out of the hat. Here's the winner. No, you earned that.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing.
We had to literally, Michael, report quarterly our progress and what our goals were. And like, it was pretty intense. It was pretty massive, and it's a better your best. So what you're doing is you're bettering yourself over your prior year. So you're really in competition with yourself. And I want to point out that I don't think Kevin did. This is an international contest. There was Canadian companies as well as US companies that were in this. And so it was pretty cool that literally, it was Kevin's, 3rd year in the industry, and it was my 7th year in the industry that we took the runner up. And then the 2nd year when we did the competition and we won first place. It also comes with an ambassadorship. So we traveled all over the United States and gave presentations and helped coach other people in the group. So it was just really neat, and it kind of helped us cement our love for the industry, honestly.
So the car was kind of our Super Bowl ring.
Yeah. Oh, and then some. That's fantastic. And that's really well put, Annissa, too. But and you too, Kevin. I noticed that the picture I saw was a very young Travis Coy in that picture too. Your son, he is a part of Firehouse and so many other things now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So our son, Travis, who's our oldest, we have 4 kids. He is a part of Firehouse. He is one of our coaches and instructors, and he's just amazing. He has such a love and passion for this industry, and we love, that he's 20 years younger than us and has he's one of those millennials. So he does the software and all this stuff, just crazy awesome that he gets into. So we love that. It helps mom and dad out a lot, but it's pretty cool getting to work with them.
It seems, and I've met him a few times also. It seems he has a passion for that as well. He's not just, I got to work with my parents. No, he's really into it, and it shows.
He grew up in it.
Yeah. That's right. Exactly. I want to talk about, if you don't mind. Well, first of all, do you have you two don't seem to be the kind of people who do the same thing a lot. You keep moving and changing and growing. Anything you want to talk about, or any somewhat semi-secret news you want to talk about for 2024?
Well, so I want to point something out. I'm a lot more comfortable staying a little more stable and still. Kevin is the one that's got, he's the quick start, all over the place, wanting to do something new every year, which you probably. But yeah, we got some pretty cool stuff coming up in 2024. Not quite ready to announce the entire thing, but we can say, and honey, you chime in here too. We do have some new classes coming that are going to be online as well as hands-on, and some pretty huge strategic, I guess you could say, partnerships. And yeah, going to be a lot of really big things going on in Firehouse this year. The last 3 years, Michael, have just been extraordinary for us. And we have just grown and grown and grown. And there just seems to be more and more need for kind of a, all-inclusive kind of situation for people in the industry when it comes to training. And so our goal is to facilitate that on a much bigger level.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the things I think we like to do is create unique, one-of-a-kind content and try to stay ahead of that curve all the time and present things in a different perspective, different light to, you know, gives people something else to think about, something new to kind of mull over. And so our content is by design, as creative and one-off as we can make it.
I will tell you this, Michael, we will say this, what we're doing this year in Firehouse and what we will be announcing here in a little bit on R&R is not unlike anything that is in the industry today, period. It's the most unique, comprehensive thing that would be in our industry. And you know, when you said earlier that Travis seems to really, you know, have passion for the industry, and isn't just, you know, having to work with mom and dad, so to speak. You know, Kevin and I kind of semi-retired about, I don't know, 8 years ago, and came out of that because we are so passionate about this industry and realize so many people need this kind of solution that we're working on creating and or have created and getting ready to launch. And we're just really excited to create more and more relationships and be able to bring this into the industry. I mean, we're just super passionate about the advocating for the industry, which I know you already know about us.
No, that's okay. That was a great answer, and I want to know more because you have so many interesting things going on. What drew you to this industry in the first place? Anything specific? The old days?
Well, you know, I don't know for Kevin, he might have a little different answer to this, but something that you probably couldn't Google and know about me, and I've honestly never publicly shared this before. I'm I'm a strategic planner. I'm a very organized person. I like things to be just so, and I was raised in a hoarder household. My mom was a hoarder. And so when I'm an accountant by trade, 34-year accountant, federal tax preparer by trade. And when I got into this industry, I was hired as an accountant for a restoration company. And what happened was I got called into a content job. And what I realized when I was helping this lady through this awful situation with her things, I really had to delve into my background and what I went through psychologically and mentally as a child growing up in a very content-rich environment. Just what people, you know, what kind of emotion and what they attach to their things. And so that took me down a rabbit hole, and what I went very passionately into, out of the accounting side of it, into the let's help people process and go through the mental and emotional side of a loss. And so I just want to help people and provide hope to them. And again, stems from my childhood. And I didn't realize that for many, many years. And so that was kind of my segue into the industry, was again, coming as an accountant, but I got really into the passionate part of it, into content specific, because that's really dealing with people's lives, right? The sheetrock on the wall and, you know, cutting up carpet and replacing it. I mean, yes, that can be devastating. And it messes up and is stressful, messes up people's daily life, but it's not their life. But, you know, the vase that grandma gave you, or the child's handprint that they made for you when they were in kindergarten, those are the things that make up our memories and our lives. And those are the things that we would miss if something happened in our home. And so I got very involved in that side of it. And so that's where my passion comes from. Is helping people in those kind of hopeless times. And Kevin jokes, which you can expand on this, honey, but he jokes that he got into the industry because I was working so much in it that he wanted to spend time with me. So he came to work for the restoration company.
Find her somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had a full-time job. I was a meat department manager at Safeway grocery store. And had been working there for about a decade. And I took on being a water tech for $12 an hour part-time, just to spend more time around my wife. Our schedules weren't matching up very well, and so I inadvertently wound up learning about the industry as a water technician, a dry out guy. So I'd get off work and run out and start checking on houses, and started getting into the demos and you know, just doing the dry outs and whatever, and it just kind of morphed out from there. And then the business went up for sale, and we bought it.
That's opportunity. And, opportunity strikes when you're not really paying attention. I found a lot of times, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And to your point, Annissa, boy, I was nodding my head a lot when you're talking, because yeah, this is the third one I've filmed of this. We had Mr. Violand and then Barry Costa last week and us. And I asked that question to everybody, and they all said basically the same thing. We came in this industry to help people. And I think that's beautiful. It's a really nice common thread through the whole industry, what we're doing. And so people they want to sit in the sidelines, want to get in there and get their hands dirty and help out. And it's funny, my mom passed away about 3 years ago. I always say she was a bit of a hoarder the last few years, but she was pretty much a hoarder. We were being nice about it. And when she passed away, I told my dad, don't worry, I'll go through the house and we'll get going. And he was, I'm so sick. Let's just throw everything out, Michael. I'm like, nah, Dad, come on. To your point, those little pieces of gold buried underneath all this stuff, and I'm so happy we went through that process as you did the same. So it obviously had a great effect on you too, Annissa. So that's great.
Yeah. You'll find that in this industry, when you really do kind of, as you were talking about off camera, peel back the layers.
Yeah.
Those of us that industry that have been, that stick around, right? Those that just they're not just coming in because they see money. Some people do. Some people come in and see an opportunity, and that's fine. But those that'll stick around, those that have been in the industry 10, 15, 40 years, or like we're pushing 24 years here in another month.
Mm-hmm.
They stick around because that they are here to help people. I always say being in this industry, and especially a content specialist, is like being an ER doctor. It's one of the toughest, most brutal physical and emotional jobs I feel like you can do. Mm-hmm. And yet it's one of the most rewarding and the most needed. Like, you are literally someone's savior when you come in and do this kind of work. And I don't care whether you're dealing with their contents or not. If you're talking about the roof was ripped off with a hurricane, it's devastating. And so those you do find that common thread. And I think that's why we love this industry so much, is because it's like one big family. And it is a very common thread, and it's just a really cool industry to be in. And I love meeting the new people that are coming in, which is why I love the shows. We get to meet a lot of new people that are coming into the industry. So pretty cool.
Well, both of you, and we could talk about tiny homes for an hour. We can maybe do it off camera. We're running out of time, but I'm really into that. I think it's so cool. I know you are as well, but you probably used all of that, was very helpful for you, Annissa, in becoming our first R&R Women in Restoration champion way back when. Can you talk for a second about how that came to be? And we know how people are nominated, but I mean,
well, it's really funny. I got to tell you this, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, Michael. But I started Ask Annissa video columns in I want to say 2013 or 2012. I'd have to go back and double check. And nobody at the time. I was the only one doing video. Mm-hmm. I was the only one doing video. And I first started as a written column, and then I decided a year in I wanted to go to the videos, and I wanted it to be. I pitched it as, you remember Dear Abby? So everybody was like, Dear Abby, and ask her all these questions, and I was like, I didn't want to go Dear Annissa, though. I wanted it to kind of rhyme, so we did, Ask Annissa. Yeah. But when I started doing those videos, I would do one every single week. Like, I was just pumping out videos and columns and I did this for years. So in 2016, mm-hmm. literally, it was around December. It was Christmas time. November, December, we always do all of our year-end planning and analyzing for the next year coming up and all this. And Kevin and I were walking on the beach when we lived on the beach here. And I was just like, you know what? I would get 10 views, maybe 15 views on my YouTube channel. And R&R, of course, had my exclusive, they always release my weekly videos in the e-newsletter, but I never saw those views. I didn't know that but I'd never get comments, and I would have just a few views. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to stop doing this. I don't think I'm helping anybody. I did this literally to help people. And I was getting a few questions, but not a ton. And I was just like, I don't know, honey. And he was like, well, and he's trying to encourage me back and forth. Well, then Michelle asked mm-hmm. me if I would do an Ask the Expert video. Anyway, I did 3 weeks later. And I had told her right before that interview, as we were getting ready to record, that I was thinking of stopping doing Ask Annissa because I don't think it's helping anybody. Right. And literally in that interview, she announced I was the winner, the inaugural winner.
Oh.
And I just in fact, the videos on R&R still, I literally just burst into tears because it was like, I felt so appreciated, and so honored. It totally hit me off guard. I was not expecting. And so when we got all done and everything, she's like, listen, please do not stop doing your videos. Like, it's like the number, one thing on R&R right now, and our e-newsletter, and people, and it just really massively snowballed from there. So I will forever be in gratitude to R&R and Violan for sponsoring Women in Restoration and giving me that opportunity to serve in that kind of a way, because it really helped me to reach more people in the industry. And as you know, I'm still doing Ask Annissa, and they're still just as popular as ever.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna say you don't. I also echo our former editor and say don't stop doing that. It's very popular, and you're helping a lot of people just with those short videos. Just perfectly done. You two are also the first people I told. I don't know if I should really tell this story, but you're the first people I told that BNP Media was going to about to purchase the experience about a year ago, and I just felt that you two needed to know. And I remember telling you, I trust you. I'll get fired if you tell anybody. And luckily, I knew you wouldn't tell anybody. It was going to work out. So you've been a big proponent of the show for a long time. In the event this year, we're at our event, next one coming up, April 3rd to the 5th in lovely Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Chattanooga Convention Center. You can register at www.rnrmagonline.com. The early bird rates go until January 31st. So if you want to save a few bucks and come to our event, do it now and check in. But you've been doing a lot the last couple. What's that?
It's a tax write-off, so buy this year.
There you go. More benefits. I like you. You be on my sales team, Kevin. Thank you. So how long have you been doing the experience? Because you've been doing a lot of stuff since we've been in charge. I know that.
Back when it was Connections.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, I remember coming down and doing Connections in Vegas. Gosh,
our first show, I want to say, was either in 2009 or 2010. So
it's been forever then. Good.
Yeah, I mean, been a minute, but we got to say this, and I know, honey, you need to chime in here because you feel the same way. We were so excited to hear BNP had purchased the experience, just because you guys, listen, Michael, you guys are awesome. You guys are. Your heart is so in the right place with this industry, and you're so passionate about figuring out how you as a company can serve more people in the industry and bring more value. And that is just exactly what Kevin and I are all about as well. And it just, totally will miss Larry and his family. They're awesome and wonderful. But someone else could have bought it that doesn't have that heart in there. And I know Larry and Trina and their family, really their heart was in the show, and it just relieved us to know that BNP, Darlene, Mildred, like the team with BNP and Andrea, R&R, are just really going to keep the show being as amazing as it is, and even doing some some more cool things. But that just really made us very happy, right, honey? We were so happy to hear that.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. We were tickled to death, and we're really looking forward to what you guys are going to do with the show. And, excited to see what's going to happen.
We're in a situation where, and I tell the team this all the time, I'm a reluctant boss. I still don't call me that, but I just kind of directing things and whatnot. And this experience didn't just happen. It's been going for 20 years, and they put their heart and soul into this. And we're not just and I told other people that at the event, you're going to change this, you're going to change the name. No, we're not. We got to be respectful of what came before us. We have ideas, and we'll tiptoe through the minefield going forward to make sure we make everybody happy and move forward. So,
well, Michael, if you don't change, right, if you're just standing still, you die, right? So the times in this industry especially are forever changing. We all saw that in the last 3 years with all the, COVID stuff and everything that happened. Like, we got thrown a curveball and things just went a little bit. And so you have to change. Change is not bad. People need to understand that. But the thing that I think should be so reassuring to all of us in the industry is that BNP Media, their heart is in the right position. They're in the right spot. They care a lot about this industry. And I just don't think that the show could have been purchased by anybody better.
Thank you. Thank you very much. you want to echo that, Kevin? I'm kidding. That was a joke. No, no.
Nothing else to be said. That's it.
That was very nice. And I told Larry Cooper last year in Las Vegas, as long as I'll be with this event, I'll do my best, sir. Yeah, my word. We'll do the best to carry on the traditions and see if we can possibly grow it, God forbid, and make it a little better. So, anyway, what is your though? But you came back a lot. What kept bringing you back? What do you think there's so many events in our industry, and what do you think separates this from the other ones? Maybe that's a loaded question. Go ahead.
No, it's a great question because we're looking for new content. We're looking for original content. We've been in the industry for over 20 years, and school's never out for the pro. We're always learning. We sit in on a lot of these presentations because we gain from them. We certainly get to have an opportunity to connect with our clients and meet new clients and meet other professionals in the industry and network. I mean, it's a great opportunity. I wouldn't miss it. I mean, it's just been always an opportunity. It's funny because I've had other people, not have good results, but I think it's part of what are you doing leading up to being in these events that's gonna set you up for success. And so we've always, we go to the events because people are exclusively showing up to the event because we're there.
Mhm.
And so we want to be there for them, and we want to be able to create original content that's going to help other people in the industry. Again, all the boats rise on the same tide. So if we can elevate the industry and advocate for the industry every day, then it's just going to be more recognizable and seen as a professional industry that it is.
It's
Yes. We plan out, Michael, we're planning right now for Chattanooga. We've already got dinner dates set up. We've already, we've already, said, hey, can we go have a cocktail here on this afternoon? That's something terrible. Right. This night, have dinner over here, catch breakfast here. So coming to the events isn't just, it is absolutely, the education is from any event we've ever been to. The experiences education track is always the best, not just a little better. I'm talking head and shoulders above any other show that we've done. And we've done a few of them. However, one of the big things that also draws us is it's like coming back to see all of our friends and family.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want to go see Bruce and Joanna, and we want to go hang out with Joe V, and we want to see you and Darlene, and just want to go back and see everybody, because that's the time. Some of us are only in the room during that time. We only get to see each other once or twice a year. And so it's really awesome having that connection to those in your industry, to get that kind of positive support. I think is just huge in business. And so that's a big thing for us as well in the show. And it's why I love so much that BNP is so about the family and the connectivity, because that won't change. That's the piece I would just never want to change.
Yeah, it's a family-run business. They just moved from a place they were at for 20 years in Michigan, but they're, the three brothers are the co-CEOs, and it's very family-based. So thanks for saying that. Appreciate it. Hey, April 3rd through the 5th, but on April 2nd, we're going to have a couple seminars. First of all, we're doing tours to the Shaw flooring plant. I want to make that announcement as well, which was what Larry Cooper signed us up for Chattanooga for in the first place. That's happening. But also we have 2 workshops going on back at the arena, including you two fine people. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Honey, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I'll speak to it to a certain extent, but you're kind of the expert on what we're putting together. We're always striving to create original content that's very useful and helpful for people in the industry. And so for 15 years of the coaching and consulting and training that we've been doing, that we found some common themes with the service businesses that are in our industry, cleaning and restoration. And what that is they have a hard time with their numbers. People don't know their numbers. Most people know the big number, gross revenue. That's the number everybody kind of knows, because that's the biggest number. It's all the money that came through the door, and that sounds really impressive, providing you're making a profit. So we want to do this year is give them a great opportunity to literally understand their numbers in a sexy way, not just the boring roll your eyes in the back of your head.
Right.
I hate this number. I hate numbers. This is for you if you don't like numbers, but you need to know them. We want to put the sexy back into profit.
I love it. Yes. I love it. We were talking offline. 85% of the people who came to the experience in September are from companies less than 50 people. And some people in the industry said that number could have been the same with less than 20. And I guess when you think about it, it makes sense, but it really had to hit me in the head with a hammer on that to realize these are all small business owners and we got to help them run their business. And then I think this plan is perfect for that, guys. That's perfect, in my opinion.
And let's face it, Michael, at the end of the day, I mean, what would stop all of us in our tracks? Money. Yeah. So, and the scary thing is, and trust me, I've been doing this for 34 years with the accounting and the federal taxes. And I have been coaching and teaching and educating small cleaning restoration business owners about how to understand those numbers. And once they do, like, this magic happens. And what they find themselves doing is making more money and doing no more work, like the same amount of work, but actually making more profit, keeping more money in their pocket. And without it, we've literally helped turn companies around by just their numbers. You can do that. I mean, we've had companies that are making $6-7 million a year and can't afford to buy a cheeseburger at McDonald's, so you can make money. Making money is honestly not even that hard these days. Making money is easy. It's the knowing how to manage it part. But the problem is that people, you and I were talking about this. It's hard to get people to want to sit in a room and go through this and learn this. And here's the tools and show them how to use them, because they just go, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk numbers. This is like, they feel, and I think that's mostly because they don't understand it. So this is going to be a very easy, fun, I want to say that, workshop where we're going to go through and we're just going to do the coaching with you that we do with our high-end clients and show you. I don't care if you're doing $50,000 in a year or if you're doing $50 million in a year. This will be an awesome place for you to be and really set you up to be massively successful.
If I can interject,
yes.
From a non-accounting person's perspective, numbers were something that just made me go cross-eyed. But I can tell you this, here's a little teaser for you. The reason we won that Mercedes was because of our numbers. And because the first year we were in business, we sat down and analyzed the numbers. I very reluctantly analyzed those numbers with my wife, who's very much into them. But they got real sexy for me when I could see the profit and how we were, what we were doing and what was making us money, what wasn't making us money, more importantly. The following year, because we knew those numbers and we understood what we needed to go do, we went through the second year, analyzed them again, and here was the difference. We did about the same amount of gross revenue, okay? Same amount of business, but our profit increased, and you're not going to believe this, 1,003%. And we did those numbers 3 times, and we had them checked by a CPA just to make sure we weren't that far off, because we thought that is a crazy number. We took that to that contest and we drove home in that Mercedes. Numbers are sexy, and so is a Mercedes.
Right.
You know what? I think that's a good stopping point. I think Kevin just mic dropped it. That was perfect. And then I agree. And I will say one thing on our end of things, but I've been in media sales since the 90s, and everybody knows print has been kind of going away for periodically the last 15 years or so. And that's the thing. People say, oh, you made so much more revenue with that. Yeah, well, you made so much more cost too. And they don't understand both sides of that. And I think you said that beautifully, Kevin. You explained that the theory, it's the double-edged sword. You got to have both working in your direction. You obviously perfected it. So this is great. I'm so happy. Thanks for taking the time to do this. This show's going to be out just Christmas week. And then we're going to start promoting the seminar pretty soon after that, I'm sure. Probably right the first week of January, I'm guessing. The Coys, you'll see Firehouse Education in their booth at the experience as well. We're going to be giving away the Women in Restoration Award at the RIA show, also in early April. That's coming up. You could nominate your favorite woman in restoration right now through our website. And you can see them. They're going to be speaking again on day 3 of the experience as well. So thanks for coming. Please make plans to attend the experience April 3rd to the 5th in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You can register through our website, rnrmagonline.com. Early bird registration rates now and through January 31st. You can find this and all R&R videos and podcasts on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Please follow us if you haven't already, and feel free to leave a quick review. We'd love to hear from you. Also, please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and the former Twitter. I still can't get myself to say X, but very special thanks. Thank you to our friends, Kevin and Annissa Coy. This is Trade Talks, Unlocking the Experience. Thank you for joining us. I got to show my shirt here. My wife will yell at me. She bought me this cool Christmas shirt. Merry Christmas, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.